convergence education, and teaching and learning methods were searched as subject one. In the second search, convergence education, teaching and learning method in convergence, and case studies of convergence education were entered as subject words. And in the third search, convergence classes and case studies were selected as subject words. In this the subject is case studies published after 2011, when the government created and began to disseminate Korean-style convergence education. Among a total of 327 primary analysis subjects, 25 academic papers were selected as a secondary analysis subject, excluding unrelated to primary and secondary education curriculum, duplicate papers, and software-related specialized education. In order to analyze the case study papers of convergence classes for students, the criteria are composed of 3 items and are shown on screen. To analyze the selected academic papers in this study, the period from January 2011 to June 2021 was set, in which the Korean government began to distribute the Korean-style convergence education to elementary and secondary education in 2011. The papers of this period were divided into before and after the 2015 revised Korean National School Curriculum announced, and comparative analysis was performed. The title and abstract, as well as the contents of the academic papers, were checked to confirm whether the convergence class was actually conducted for students who were in elementary to secondary education. The subject and content of the research were analyzed by checking the title and abstract as well as the body of the paper to see if it involves a case of convergence education in classes for actual students. Also, the pedagogical method of convergence education classes was selected and analyzed. The research of analysis of the final 25 academic research papers are as follows after examining the case studies for convergence education for the last 10 years and 6 months. Analyzing at the 25 academic papers before and after 2016, 8 papers were studied in the former period and 17 papers were studied in the second half. The research of the analysis shows that 12 out of a total 25 academic papers for elementary school students were the largest, and 7 of them were studied in the first half. In the first half of the period, the most studied subjects were 7 out of a total 8 papers for elementary school students, and only 1 case study for high school students was conducted. Compared to this, in the second half of the period, the most studied subjects were 7 out of a total 70 papers for middle school students, 5 studies for elementary school students, and 4 studies for high school students. The topic most frequently used in the convergence class in this study was the subject of science, with 7 academic papers. In the following order, 6 studies for the subject of Korean language, 4 studies for the subject of art, 2 studies for its subject of social studies and physics education, and 1 study for its subjects of ethics, Chinese characters, English, and career explanations were there found. Case studies were conducted with 3 subjects of Korean, science, and art in the first half of the period, whereas they were conducted with 9 subjects of Korean, science, art, physical education, social studies, ethics, Chinese characters, English, and career explanation. The most used pedagogical method was STEAM education. Comparing the case studies of 2 periods such as project learning discussion learning, and convergence, such as interdisciplinary learning, are much more numerous and diverse than the first of the period and multi-pedagogical methods used in the one case study. In conclusion, as a result of analyzing 25 academic papers, 12 studies on elementary school students, 7 studies on middle school students, and 5 studies on high school students were studied. The first half of the study was focused on elementary school students, and the second half was focused on middle school students. The most studied subject was science, with a total of 7 studies. The most active subject in the first half was science, studied with 4 academic papers, whereas the most active subject in the second half was Korean, conducted with 4 academic papers. The most used pedagogical method was STEAM education in this study, such as project learning, discussion learning, and interdisciplinary learning in the second half are much more numerous and diverse than in the first half of the period. This study will offer meaningful data and be able to explore new approaches to pedagogical methods in convergence education. Thank you for watching my presentation. Thank you.
Yes, her presentation has been
Good morning,
ended.
good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Please accept my greetings. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here at the ICAS Fall 2021
I'm sorry.
Convergence.
So, yes, her presentation is over. So, do you have any questions about her presentations? Feel free to, okay. Nida? Yes.
I have a question. Can I ask to
국가이.
KI? Yes.
Mm.
Okay, my question is because this is the convergent education, how we can connecting between one subject to another, because I see that many subjects that combine in the STEM, because now I still just combine just mathematics, science, and art. How we can connect it between PE and then maybe the language. Thank you.
You mean, okay, I think that what I told in one subject, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, what I talked about the one subject in converse education is the centered subject. Actually, all the subjects are combined with other subjects, but mainly what is this for the converse edition is that the center subject. For example, P related to the science. So a lot of students studied science in classroom. And when they do like the running in P, they think about the science things. So they feel the science things not only for the theory, but also they have a practices during they have activities. So it's all about their research papers.
So you mean that this although we using the another subject, so the context should be science like that.
No, actually, you know, what I mean is that when I research the literature review, I distinguish some of them is like we have a convergence education for science, but we use the other subjects as a tools. But that was what I told that one subject related to others, you know. But the other things like interdisciplinary, not only important, not only one subject is important, but also the other subjects equally important. So it's a little different, you know, point of view to see the convergence education. You understand what I'm talking about?
Not really, not so clear, because I think it's not easy to combine another subject to another subject. Yes, actually many subjects in one lesson like that.
Yes, so in Korean STEM education, there are many connecting methods. For example, multidisciplinary STEM education or interdisciplinary STEM education or thematic centered approach to STEM education or problem solving based STEM education. So there are many approaches, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Mm.
Yeah, and then I think the STEAM is a tool for the competency education. I don't think STEAM is equal to the competency education. That's why I'm researching for the other pedagogical method for the competency education.
Yes, so I agree with Kuka's opinion. So her study will contribute to heighten our academic outlook regarding convergence education. So thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Yes, so next turn is Nuha Projam. Not yet. So next
Mr.
turn.
Nuha haven't come yet. Yeah, maybe it's Miss Triratna first. Maybe I think.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Nuha haven't come yet. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So next turn, Tori Latanisha, Tori Latanisha, or and Mipal Hideya. Yes. So. I will share their videos.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Triratna Ningsih, and my partner is Miftahul Hidayah. Today, we will share about our research. The topic of the research was fostering student motivation to learn mathematics through STEM project using 4D frame toolkits. COVID-19 forced students to do online learning in remote area. It is not easy because of unstable signal and minimum support from their parents. It makes students have low motivation to learn mathematics. They think that mathematics is a difficult subject. They shouldn't prefer playing online game than study. And less than 50% active in learning online. This is a big challenge for teachers. Teachers should be creative to design lesson plan. That's why I decided to apply STEM and 4D frame in my class and analyze change student motivation. The question of this study is, does the STEM approach and 4D frame can increase student motivation in learning mathematics? If it works, it can be an alternative to learn mathematics. Motivation is eagerness and willingness to do something without needing to be told or forced to do it. Motivation can be indirect observed through cognitive, emotional, and behavioral. The motivation on learning mathematics can be influenced by change in the teaching approach. The different teaching strategies designed have a positive effect on learning motivation, satisfaction, and learning effectiveness. One kind of approach is STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. One of impact applying STEM approach is students more enthusiastic on learning mathematics. Integrated STEM education aims to offer increased accessibility for all students through activities that are developed with lawful, high ceiling, and wide walls, and attend to student interest, motivation, and engagement in learning. In these studies, the researcher used 4D frame as a media to learn mathematics. This study is classroom action research with 2 cycles. The participants are 15 7th grade students in SMPN 3 Arjasa. The instruments are questionnaire and observation sheet. In the first cycle, students learn triangle and quadrilaterals by making balls from straw. We found something interesting. In the third picture, the student used raffia as a connector. When the teacher asks, "Why did you use raffia?" the student does not answer the question, but responds by stating that he will replace the connector. So, the student assumes that the teacher's question states that he made a mistake. In the second cycle, students design an agent taxi, then make a miniature using the 4D frame toolkit. During the activity, an interesting thing was found when the teacher asked the student to raise their hand when answering or giving their opinion, but the student did not dare to speak. The students feel afraid if they give a wrong answer. However, there was something surprising when making a miniature agent taxi. The student did several experiments by making several types of wheels, so the speed of the agent taxi was better. This means that students have the motivation to complete their project perfectly. Let's see the result. From motivation chart, we can see that the questionnaire before the action showed that there were 6.67% of students who had low motivation, while in the first cycle, students with low motivation changed to 0% or no student had low learning motivation. At the end of the second cycle, there are 6.67% of students who have moderate learning motivation. 66.67% of students have high learning motivation and 26.67% of students have very high motivation. This means that learning mathematics with the STEM approach is able to increase the motivation to learn mathematics for 7th grade students at SMPN 3 Arjasa. This chart is about student activity during the lesson. From this chart, we can see that there was an increase in the activity of first cycle to second cycle. The average increase in activity is 28.82%. In general, learning mathematics with the STEM approach using 4D frame is able to increase student activity during learning. This shows that student learning motivation also increases. But in the point C, E, and H, the percentages are still under 75%. C is student active answer question, E is student giving opinion, and H is student ask question. It means that more than 1 in 4 students would not dare to communicate with the teacher. The conclusion of this study is learning mathematics using STEM approach and 4D frame can increase student motivation on learning mathematics, especially for 7th grade students in SMPN 3 Arjasa. The other finding of this study are students still have low communication skill and self-confidence. The second, students are more enthusiastic in offline learning than online.
The last, the challenge for teacher are how keep students' motivation high by many ways to teaching, and how to communication with students that have different languages. That's all for me. If any question or advice, please feeling free. I will appreciate them. Thank you very much. Terima kasih and see you later.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ali.
I'm sorry.
I'm a student in comprehensive education at
Yes. So, do you have any other questions for about her presentation? She discussed the usefulness of 4D frame in mathematical classroom, especially to motivate students. So, do you have any questions? So I have one question. Tri Latangdingisha. So you said students have low communication skill and low confidence. So how can we enhance the communication skill in mathematical classroom using 4D frame? What do you think about that?
Sorry?
Yes.
Explain again.
Yes. In conclusion, you said students have low communication skill and low confidence. So my question is that how can we enhance the low communication skills and the low confidence in the mathematical classroom using 4D frame?
Oh, okay. I think that we can. This is my problem actually. My student is so shy if they could give their opinion. So I don't know how to gain their confidence, but I try to keep communication with them, and then I maybe point someone to ask the answer, because if I ask to raise their hand to ask the question to my question, there is no one raise their hand. I think that, yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. So it's a very useful approach to enhance students' confidence and communication skills. So any other questions? Nida? I cannot hear your voice. Nida, I cannot hear your voice.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm still off the I'm still mute the sound. Okay, Miss Tri, I want to know how, if we know that the student has passive and active for especially for the question or make a question to another. Is it okay if we can ask the student, or they just show the product that they can has been made it? Is it okay, or they should speak like that?
Oh, they should presented their product, but in the group, when they presented their product, there is no one. What the English? But there is no one that I want to present that. The other friend is you come in from you, and like that. I don't know how to describe.
It's okay. Okay.
Oh, yes, I see. I see that.
I see, Ibu. Yeah, we can understand. Yeah, we can understand what
Yes,
you
we
mean,
can
Ibu.
understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I think in one group we can divide the job, who that
Yeah.
can present that presentation and who will be make a conclusion, or who make some idea about the design, or who will be make it like that. Maybe I think this is, but maybe we just another time we can change the role. Yes, I think it's not easy to motivate the student to make to speak in the public, but
Yeah.
we should.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Anita.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your questions. Yes. So it's very important. So Mr. Yoga write his opinions in our chatting room. So I see.
No,
I
sir.
see.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Yoga
Yes.
asked about the recording. Yeah, the recording video. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I could deliver the recording of but it's another problem. So I will deliver my opinion about that. Yes, later to Mr. Yoga. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
sir.
So yeah. Yes, thank you. Stay. Yes. So, due to the absence of neural classrooms, so for now we can end our session. But I have I ask the last question to you. So it's a session regarding the collaboration between Indonesia and Korea STEM education experts. So, would I like you to how can we improve the collaboration between Indonesian and Korean STEM education experts? So FortiFrame is a very important tools. For example, so the last question is as follow. How can you think how to improve the collaboration between Indonesian and Korean STEM education? It's a very big question. I'm sorry.
Yes, because I think it's not our
Yes.
what we can responsibility is. But I think the student is, I think it's FortiFrame is new for our students, so they still confused how to connect each other, and how we can make it the some angel from the FortiFrame. So I think we should try to let them to try the FortiFrame first, and then another maybe they can join, maybe there's competition there or whatever like that.
Yes. FortiFrame can be solved as a symbol as a symbol of collaboration between Indonesia and Korean STEM education. So we can increase such symbols such as FortiFrame to improve STEM education. Yes. So any other questions? So for me, this session is very great and inspiring for me to think about the depths and the width of STEM education in Korea. So I hope good luck to you. Yes, thank you. So our session will be over. Thank you. But tomorrow we will have another session regarding poster and GeoGebra session. So if you could participate in it, I hope we meet at these sessions. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.